welcome back to part 2 of Expectations. It's the T.M.T. podcast, and I'm Terry.
I'm Miles.
I'm Tim.
And we're about to finish where we left off with our other question.
All right, so this question, very interesting because it caters to us three, but it might also cater to whoever. It depends on who's watching. So I'll just ask it. So, Tim, I'll start with you. As a young black man in America, what expectations do you feel like society has for you? And I'll even add in a kicker, if any.
I'm expected to do nothing. What do you mean?
Well, I mean,
I'm expected.
You're right.
I feel like there's a lot of expectations put on black people, period, in America. You know, we're expected to fall in line, follow the crowd, not be, too outlandish, you're not supposed it's hard because, people in the black community expect you to act a certain way.
As well,
and then people outside the black community expect you to act a different way. Because, for me, I've had people come up to me like, oh, why you talk so properly? I'm like, what do you mean by that? I'm just, I'm just talking.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you don't cuss when you talk. You don't really, talk with slang. And I'm like, that's a bad thing. And then, so, I guess I'm expected to talk a certain type of way.
Use ebonics.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
And that just, baffles me because, at the same time, that shouldn't dictate who I am. Wow. Hold on.
No, take your time. Do you want me to come back to you?
Yeah.
All right, you good.
No, there was some in my eye.
No, you good.
Yeah,
all right. Anyway, so what about you, bro?
I feel like there's a lot, but because of what we can go into, I feel like we should say expectations / stereotypes.
Yeah.
Because
they tie in together.
It's like so many, really. But just to piggyback off what Tim was saying. Now you saying as far as the world goes, you're not talking about any particular group of people. Expectations for us.
Just for us, but we'll dive deeper.
No, I'm saying the world's expectations.
For us, the world's expectations of.
Yeah, well, that encapsulates everybody. Then, yeah, like he said, to talk a certain way, to act a certain way, and specific groups of people expect certain things. Some of it's funny. I'm not even gonna lie, but
can't take nothing serious.
No, it's just funny. They expect you to be loud in public areas sometimes, and they expect you to be, I don't know, they expect you to wear a certain type of clothes, to act a certain type of way, and if you're not, then you're not acting black enough, or if you're doing other things, or you're acting quote unquote white, which I don't even understand that, but anyway, they expect you to not be into certain things. They expect you to be into sports, and if you're not into sports, what are you doing? If you listen to country music, if you don't listen to rap music, these are people from both ends of the stick. Black people expect you to do these, and so do white people. When you don't meet those expectations, I would say some people are baffled. I think sometimes white people of any ethnicity, but I'm saying white skin, they're baffled sometimes. Oh man. And if you don't, then for black people, it's man, you ain't black, or you weird. Mm-hmm. And also from certain communities, I don't know, when they see you as a black man, or sometimes they expect you to not be raising your kids, or not be in a household. And if you're doing it by yourself, that's even stranger. Mm-hmm.
It's like a unicorn or something.
Yeah, it's like you don't have a wife or,
so you raising by yourself?
Yeah,
what? It's crazy to me.
Yeah. And if you are married, to a woman and you didn't have your children out of wedlock, like, oh my gosh, like it's it's a miracle. And
show up for him? Why? Like it's like it's like crazy. It's like there's certain things they just see crazy. Go ahead.
What else?
There's a lot of things.
Yeah, it is. There's so many. Oh,
yeah, go ahead.
Work. When you're at work, sometimes they expect you to be lazy. I'm not even gonna lie.
Or not as competent.
Yeah, or not as competent. Like, and I would say when you go the above and beyond, some people looking at you as a kiss up, or maybe I just work hard. Or when you're in corporate America, people expect you to talk like them, and if you're not talking like them, you're not being quote unquote professional. They expect you to have a certain look in corporate America, like, oh, your hair ought to be clean cut, short, shaven, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all these different things. And if you don't, you look unkept. Mm-hmm. It's just so many different avenues. It's like, They expect you to, like, already be athletic. Like, if you're big, if they see a dude on the street, right, he's like tall or buff or anything like that, man, you play football? Like, and it's like, maybe I used to, maybe I didn't. Like,
right. Like, or maybe I just like to stay in shape.
Yeah, maybe I like to stay in shape. Maybe I'm a joke. Or you got a nice body. Oh man, he got a jail body. Why he got to have a jail body? Because maybe he just like to work out. Right. Like it's. I've had people say that to me when I played football. I was in high school. Like it's like. Some of the stereotypes is crazy. It's a lot we can go into. So
yeah, I mean, I don't want to like blow up the spot or nothing with that.
Exactly,
it was just more of like a general question, like expectations that y'all see. Because like for me, like I feel like this is why it's important to know who you are, no matter. Well, this doesn't even go like it's like this people in general. Yeah, no, but right now we're talking about black people. So black people, like it's important to know who you are. Like what identity do you bring to this world? Because my thing is based off of your other people's perceptions of like their expectations of you as a black man, a black woman, a white man, whatever that may be, depending on how they view you negatively, it should never impact who you are.
Yeah.
Like for example, I'm never gonna feel a type of way if some black dude says I talk too proper. Yeah. I'll never feel a type of way if a white person says I don't talk proper enough. You know what I mean? Because I know who I am. I know what I bring. I know my intelligence. I know all these things about myself. And the thing is, those expectations that these other people may have on me or y'all or anyone that I know, it doesn't matter. Because I know that most of the people I just referred to know who they are. Now, obviously, when you're younger and you have all these expectations thrown at you by society on what you are, who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to be acting, it can make it feel like your identity is being stripped in a sense because they are saying things that you should be and who you should be that you do not resonate with. And that could just be you. But like, it might not be. It just depends on what you are or who you are.
Right.
And that's the tricky part. But I ask that because those expectations are things that can really hinder someone's growth in their lives. Because like you're so busy trying to be something you're not based on what society expects out of you. And that's where you get a lot of these phony people from. You know what I mean? You got people that do this, say this, don't think independently. Another thing that not even just black people. For that, what I'm about to say right now is not even just black. It's just people in general. Mm-hmm. You're expected to follow the masses. And like you said a couple times a few episodes ago, people don't know how to have independent thought. Mm-hmm. So when the masses are all moving in one way, then it's very easy for you to be expected to move with everyone else.
I think. Go ahead.
No, you good. That's good.
But with you saying that, it just made me realize. I think the reason that is because what people look at as the masses are doing it, they deem it as culture. Just because the masses are doing something don't mean it's culture. Like people got to understand what culture really is. And before I say anything, how real do y'all want me to get? Because I wanted to say something when you was talking about the whole black thing.
No, go ahead. Be as real as you want.
Because I just look. First of all, and I hate this. Ain't even about a race thing. It's just history. It's just the truth. I'm not gonna be all on that bull crap. But first of all, it's black people really don't even know who they are. Most black people. They just really starting to come into who they truly are. So through slavery and all that, our identity was stripped away from us. And this is not like a hate thing. This is just, this is the truth. Like, identity was stripped away, so you don't really, whatever's thrown in your face, you think that's who you are, And you think, okay, this is what I'm doing, so this must be my culture. Mm-hmm. As black people, we don't really have a culture. Mm-hmm. Like, we do a lot of things and, okay, like wearing do-rags, things like that, listening to rap music, making rap music, eating everybody else's food, doing soul food. We say, oh, that's our culture. But that was given to us. That's not something that we came here with. So I feel like us getting back and learning our history, and I'm not about to dive too deep into that right now because that's not what this is about, but we can at some point. I feel like we need to really learn about those things to really know. Mm-hmm. Have a sense of identity, and that way we won't just go with the masses, and say, oh, if they're doing it, this is our culture. Because this, us as black people here who were brought over in America are very influential. So most of the times when we do stuff, the masses goes along with what black people do. Therefore, everybody else likes to say it's the culture. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We can go into a lot of different things. Like, black person can say something, mm-hmm. and then everybody else want to start saying it because they think it makes them sound cool, right. Or they want to fit in. And it's like, what is it about us that makes it seem like if we do something, it's cool to say or it's cool to do, So that's the thing we got to think about.
It is something to think about.
And because of that goes to show we shouldn't care about what other people think, because no matter what we do, people are going to want to go along with what we do. So therefore, do our own thing, have our own culture, and be our own people. Mm-hmm. That's all.
No, I definitely feel that.
Bars. Drop the mic, Terry, please.
Yeah, and there's also, just in general, there's like a lot of happiness killers with those expectations. Like, mm-hmm. for example, like when people expect life to be fair, like, when you're younger, yeah. It might be one of those things where you're just having a string of what it might seem like bad luck or whatever. And at this point, it's not a race thing. It's more of just like I just wanted to ask you guys that because, we're all black men. Right? So, like, for all the black men watching, mm-hmm. like, it's something that, to think about and to, mm-hmm. analyze and understand that it's more of an identity thing. But, like, life is one of those things where anything can happen at any given time, and you might have this expectation for your life to be good. You don't want, obviously nobody wants to struggle with literally anything, because that's not in our human nature to want to feel any kind of suffering. Mm-hmm. But that expectation is not realistic. Like, there's a lot of unrealistic expectations that are just inevitable. Like, for example, an expectation that you're going to live a long time is very possible, but it's also very possible that it's not possible, because literally I could be in great health, but I could walk down the road right now and someone could shoot me dead. Now, that's not fair, and it might not be what I deserve, but that's an expectation that I want to live. It might not always be like plausible for whatever reason. And I bring that up because it's important to note that expectations are just one of those things that can be shattered at any given point. Yeah. And that's something that you can't control. So anyone that has expectations for anything, commit until you can't. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Control what you can control.
Exactly.
And I got a question for y'all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Since we're on the topic of expectations, something I was thinking about last night that hit me and I had to come to the realization of, because I think a lot of times we like to say we don't live with regret. But in all actuality, be honest with yourself. So I will say, me last night, I realized, I'm like, dang, I do live with regret. Like, there's some things I do regret doing. I'm just like straight up. And I think when I acknowledged it, I was at the point where like, dang, I can actually get over it now because I faced it like it's true. We like to say, oh, no, I don't regret anything I did. Just because everything you did, you didn't feel good about. Everything you did wasn't the right choice or decision. So would y'all say y'all actually do live with regret based off expectations y'all have for yourself or other people have for y'all? Or no, you just simply fine with every decision you made in your life and things you go.
Dang, that's a good question, because like, I don't know why, but like recently I was thinking about that too. Mm-hmm. Just like, not everything I've done, like a deep dive into like my whole past, everything.
Bunch of
but just activity. Like, even like just in like recent times, mm-hmm. I'm just like, what have I been doing now in like the past 2 years, 3 years or so, that am I okay with everything that I've done? Like, am I just set in stone, cut it off, it's over with now? Or, should I work on this reflecting, see what I could do better? And, I feel like I've taken that route more. Just because, like, there is room to grow with you, like, taking time to, admit your wrongs.
Right.
Admit your wrongs. Admit, I could have done this better. I could have did this better. I could have not done that. Just like, I don't know. It's just like rewiring yourself to like think before you actually make that decision, before you do something actually.
For sure. What would you say?
I'd say like, because I've made so many mistakes, I can't even count them. I'm not even gonna lie. I've done things I'm not necessarily proud of. I've said things I'm not really proud of. And I've also made lots of decisions that I wouldn't necessarily say I weren't great decisions, but they weren't necessarily bad. I'd say everything I've done, said, or like decided has shaped, in a sense, who I am now. Like, for example, me going to Miami at the time, I was like, man, this sucks. I should have went to OSU Newark with you. Ohio State Newark with you. And I regretted that at first because I was like, man, it sucks. I'm not with Terrence. That's my guy. Like, I don't want to be here. Like, it sucked at first. But then that regret that I thought I had at the time led me to Brendan again.
Yeah.
For all y'all that don't know Brendan, if y'all look in the comments, he's always the first one. He's a real ride or die. Yeah. He's probably he's one of my best friends that I met in middle school. And we clicked back up when I went to Miami. So if I would have never went to Miami, we wouldn't have, and we're still best friends to this day. Like, I called him like a couple hours ago, check on his family. He checks on my, like we're like this. He's like these two, but he just ain't here. But he will be. Anyway, if I never would have went to Miami, right, then I would have never rekindled that relationship with him. So like every decision has a pathway that you might not appreciate or realize until later down the line. So I try not to look at it as, oh man, I ain't do that. That sucks. Oh, I decided this and not that. Oh, that sucks. Now there are some instances where I'm like, dang, maybe my life would have been better if I would have did this, or maybe I would have talked to this person, or maybe had the nerve to talk to this person, or like stuff like that. I feel like everyone feels that way though. Yeah. There's always, nobody has made every right decision. It's impossible. Not at all. And the regret comes from how you look at it. Like if you look at everything as regret, it has such a negative connotation on it. You start thinking, if I would have done this, maybe my life right now would be this. Which your life is going to go down the path it's intended. That's what I believe. Now, someone might argue with that. Someone might disagree with that. But that's just what I believe personally. Because I feel like God sets you on a path where he's going to put you in a position where you need to learn before he gives you what you need or deserve.
True. Our free will comes into play as well.
Exactly. Because a lot of people choose to do dumb things. Yeah. And then they're like, man, I can't believe I did that, man. Like, you're only saying that because you're suffering consequences. A lot of people do dumb things all the time. No real thought, like you just said. And then they start regretting those decisions because something bad happened.
Yeah. Like, there are some instances where you can be a victim in a situation, but if you just keep doing, you're making a choice at that point. And that's when I feel like the regret can come into play. But some people still might want to play victim. My thing is just, I think my biggest thing when it comes to regret is I feel like people I've let come into my life and wasted time, because I feel like they can go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. Like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, that's just, those people aren't in my life now. I'm sure based off what I learned from the experience with them, they should have never been in my life. And I picked up on things at the time. But, something, you live and you learn. But at the end of the day, for me, it's just like, just watch who come in your life. And really acknowledging that made me realize, like, I don't ever want to do anything. It makes me more careful now with every decision I make. Yeah.
See, and
because I never want to live with that regret again.
Mm-hmm. See, and I'm glad you said that, because that goes hand in hand with expectations as well. Mm-hmm. And the reason why is because when you have expectations for people that come into your life, you give them more opportunities to prove your expectations to be correct for them.
Oh, okay.
For example, if for example, and a lot of people do this,
mm-hmm.
you meet a girl, right? She's really beautiful, but she sucks personality wise. She sucks personality wise, but you have this imagined expectation that with some time she'll be a great girlfriend / wife, whatever. So she's showing you all the red flags. You ignore them because you have this expectation for what it can be, not what it is. So you start giving her all these chances, right? It will take something detrimental to happen to you based off what she does for you to be like, oh, this sucks. She wasting my time. The reason why it's so, and this is why friends are important. Because there's been plenty of instances where, I'm not going to name who. There's been plenty of instances. Let me finish. There's been plenty of instances where this unknown person that y'all do not know has talked about a girl that had clear red flags. And me, I'm not the type of person to just let people mess themselves up. I'll tell that person, maybe this person isn't good. Nah, bro. I mean, she did do this, but she did this one time. The expectation for that person was too high at the time, so this unknown person couldn't see it. It only took something detrimental happening for this unknown person to realize, man, she's not even supposed to be here right now. So that goes to show, sometimes when you have expectations for people, for a season, for however long this period of time is, it can backfire because you're giving them so many chances.
And expectations for yourself.
Yeah.
Like reason I ask, because sometimes you can do things, bring people into your life, and you expect for yourself to do something or not to do something. And then when it don't go as you planned for yourself, you know what I'm saying? You like, dang, I never planned for that to go that way for me. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And then it's like, start living with regret again. You know?
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, like you said. Yeah, that's friends are important too, because just anybody who gonna give you wise counsel, I'll say that.
Mm-hmm. For sure. And those expectations, it's one of those things where so many different factors can come into play, especially with other people, and it's just like, or even just your life. Like you're not I know a lot of people are expected. They have expectations of themselves to always do well, to even change other people, and it can always backfire, but your expectations have to be something that you can visualize and understand. If they're not in your control, something can change it. Like something can change the narrative of those expectations.
Life be life,
That is very true.
It's not even a word, but it be life.
I mean, yeah. And, I feel like something that we're all expected to do that we don't really realize that, in the Bible, Micah, there's a individual in the Bible named Micah. He listed 3 characteristics that all people should have, like in terms of expectations, and that's really or rather 3 principles, I'll say. And that's to, be committed to justice, be committed to kindness, and be committed to your creator. Like I said, our creator is God of the Bible, but just being committed to those 3 principles has allowed us to understand our expectations for this life is to just spread as much love and kindness as possible. Even when we don't feel good about life, or even when we have our doubts, that is what it is. So,
what you saying that, since we're on this topic of expectations, reminds me. I was just sharing this with my dad. Okay, because some people, they like to throw God in there, right, when it comes to expectations. People quote this scripture all the time and take it out of context. So real quick, sometimes people will say stuff like, all things gonna work out for my good. When the Bible says, all things will work out for your good according to those that love him. Mm-hmm. And in the Bible, it talks about if you love him, keep his commandments. So if you're not keeping his commandments, that's not showing God you love him. So you can't expect everything to work out for your good, even if it's a bad decision. So how they plan out is going to go according to that decision based off of if you're showing God you love him or not.
Just saying, faith without works is dead.
Yeah.
Like you can't say you love somebody and then not show it. I can say I love Tim every day, but if I'm sorry, beat him up or rob him or take his food,
it's tough,
steal his car. I still love you though. You can't. That's the whole thing. So I'm glad you added that in. But yeah. So that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
All right, so that is it for episode 7 of the T.M.T. podcast. Expectations.
Yep. If you want more on that, which obviously, like we said earlier, there's a lot we could touch about.
Yeah.
So,
drop some questions.
Yeah,
if you haven't.
If you don't,
give some feedback.
Forget you. So,
feedback.
If you don't, it's okay.
Like it if you like the topic and the video.
And share it. And subscribe too.
Even if you don't, do it too.
If you hated it, like it anyway.
Right.
You only be doing us a favor.
Because we're expecting you to.
No, we are. Yeah, do it. No, I'm just kidding.
But, all right, I'm Terry.
I'm Miles.
And I'm Tim.
And we out.
Peace.